The Oscars of food. And it really, to have that on your resume as just being a nominee, let alone a winner,
right,
is quite an achievement. To talk a little bit more about the nominees, specifically the ones hailing here from California, is Susan Ungaro, the president of the James Beard Foundation. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Randall and Patty.
Yes, nice to have you with us, joining us from New York, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am.
You're our second guest on the show today from New York. So welcome.
It's cold and sunny.
Oh, cold and sunny. Hey, well, that's not too bad. A friend of mine from Chicago, who you may know, Bill Daly, he's a writer for the Chicago Tribune, posted a beautiful picture of downtown Chicago the other day, and I wrote him a little note, and I said, "Ooh, springtime in Chicago, I love it." He goes, "It's 13 degrees out, Randall." So, yeah, so I said, okay, I get it. At any rate, Susan, is there an unusual number? Does California tend to have a higher percentage of nominees in the James Beard Awards every year?
Well, there's no doubt that San Francisco and the Bay Area are very talented, and besides having great weather, you have a great food community of great professionals out there. Certainly, New York and San Francisco are always very well represented in our James Beard nominees.
So, give us some of the highlights then. How is California being represented this year? We want to know.
Okay, well, there's over a dozen wonderful people being recognized. First of all, you have our Lifetime Achievement Award, which is going to be awarded to Cecilia Chang, who is considered the godmother of Chinese cuisine here in America, just like James Beard was considered the godfather of American cuisine. So we're really looking forward to honoring her on May 6th at Lincoln Center. And then a wonderful chef whose restaurant I've been to, Michael Mina, is being inducted into our Who's Who. But I think also what's really exciting for your city is the fact that two restaurants, and there's only 5 in the whole country being recognized as a nominee. 2 San Francisco restaurants are receiving the Best New Restaurant nomination: State Bird Provisions and Rich Table.
Wow.
And,
nice.
It's I think it's very exciting, the fact that those restaurants, which are both run by husband and wife partner teams, are really, are big standouts this year. And you also have 2 local men being honored for the Rising Star Chef Award, which recognizes talent under 30 years old. Again, only 5 in the country, and 2 hail from your area. Danny Bowen of Mission, Danny Bowen of Mission Chinese, and Thomas McNaughton of Flour and Water.
Mission Chinese and Flour and Water are 2 places that are on my list of I have to go visit locations, and now I see why they're being.
Now you really do,
right? In fact, my good friend Chris, who's a chef up in the Bay Area, speaks highly of Flour and Water all the time, and I just love the name of that place.
I know that's a really catchy name.
Now, the James Beard Foundation does not just recognize chefs, also writers as well.
Yes, we also, we recognize great cookbook authors, journalism awards. We have television and broadcast award, web awards. We recognize the best in your industry as well, which is really, very exciting. On Friday night, May 3rd, we have what we consider the Golden Globes of the food industry, where the media come and celebrate the excellence in your area. And I also just want to make sure that you know that in terms of restaurants, Gary Danko, he's I've been to his restaurant out in San Francisco. He is nominated for Outstanding Chef. Again, that is chefs. There's 6 of them this year being recognized as nominees in the country. And Charles Fan of the Slanted Door is being recognized as a nominee for Outstanding Restaurant. And that, you can't even be considered unless you've been in business for over 10 years. A real sign of success.
Gary Danko and the Slanted Door, both fantastic places. I've been to them both. The Slanted Door, I think, is impressive for a reason that I feel like when a location is small and then expands and moves, that's typically a death nail, I think. Like it almost never works in favor of the restaurant. In the case of the Slanted Door, it happened without a hitch. The quality of the food remained, and the location is
so obviously
terrific.
They're doing something right. People moved with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, an outstanding restaurant is really a very important award because it recognizes success, long-term success in the food world.
That's a Vietnamese French restaurant there at the Ferry Plaza.
Now, aside from all these awards, which is a great function of the foundation, what other types of work are you all involved with?
Well, our mission is to celebrate and nurture excellence in the food industry, and also to nurture the next generation of great chefs and restaurateurs, and we do that by giving out scholarships. We have a very robust scholarship program that is growing year over year. This summer we'll be awarding over $500,000 in financial aid to deserving students, and the call for those scholarship entries starts next month on our website. And we also, if anybody in your area comes to New York City, in the Village, we have a restaurant that is actually based in James Beard's former townhouse, where he was on the Today Show, wrote cookbooks, taught cooking lessons, and anyone can come. And over 220 days out of the year, we recognize chefs from all over the country who come into a fundraising dinner. It's a very, very special opportunity to recognize great work all around the country.
We should mention that jamesbeard.org is the website where you can get this information. We also have a link to that under our program summaries at eatdrinkexplore.com. Just look for today's listings, and you'll find the link to jamesbeard.org there.
And really cool on the
Thank you.
website, I have to say, along with this chance to get what looks like an amazing cookbook, is there's tons of recipes offered as well. So I like that aspect of your website.
Thank you. We have quite a few, over 400 recipes, and they're all tested. So they, as you probably know in this industry, not every recipe that you read or see is tested. Ours are tested and really, really work.
It can be frustrating. You try it, and it's like, wait, that did not work out the way they said it was going to.
Right.
Susan, yesterday at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, the newly restored otter exhibit opened to fans, and I saw some of the pictures online. Those otters are so unbelievably cute. I couldn't help but the pictures grabbed me, and I said, okay,
it pulled you in.
I'm going to go through it. But last week on the program, we had a guest from the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and they mentioned that they have a partnership with you regarding sustainability in food.
That's right. Another way that we do good work and support our mission is we have an annual food conference and leadership awards. This will be our third year awarding people and organizations that do great work in the field of making this food world a better, safer place. And the Monterey Bay Aquarium is not only beautiful, I had the pleasure of being there too long ago, over a decade ago, but the people there are really doing great work in making sure that our seafood and our water are being well taken care of, and need to have a lot more attention focused on that aspect of sustainability and healthy systems on our planet.
Their Seafood Watch program is so helpful and just goes a long way in helping exactly the things you were just talking about.
It's a nice partnership between the science and sustainability and the foodies, so that people can still enjoy but feel like they're doing it responsibly. So that's a nice partnership.
I think it's important to be mindful about whatever we consume and how we consume it.
Susan, when you go out to eat or you go to a dinner party and people know that you're the president of the James Beard Foundation, is that intimidating to them? Because I would be extremely intimidated.
I certainly hope not. I am not a great cook. I'm adequate. I'm just like everybody else. I enjoy meeting chefs and sampling new menus. When I go into any restaurant, the first thing I look at is the dessert.
That's nice.
My mother taught me that. But honestly, James Beard lamented in his lifetime that people didn't ask him over for dinner because they were afraid to cook for him, and he really, as he often said, food is our common ground. And I think the most important thing is when people come to your home, that you feel comfortable and that you never make a recipe that you don't know works. Don't try to impress. Just try to have a good time.
Do what you know. That's smart.
I like that. Food is our common ground. I'll tell you, I had a brain shift at one point when I was touring Spain, and I went to a restaurant in Seville where there was a table next to us of, I don't know, maybe 10 people or so. They were there when we got there, and it was clear they had been there a while. And they were there when we left, and they weren't finished eating. They weren't rushing to eat. It was more
an experience,
It was
right?
an experience, and it was a conversation they were having. And I found that at so many restaurants in Spain, and I've tried to bring that over to my end of life here in California to turn meals into a conversation, an event.
I couldn't agree more. I married into an Italian family. I come from Irish background, and we would sit down to even a holiday dinner, eat and get up. And what I loved about my husband's family is that they would sit for hours around the table.
Yeah.
And certainly, I mean, in Spain, you don't start eating until 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
And it goes on for hours.
Exactly. Susan Ungaro, president of the James Beard Foundation. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on your show, and all the best to everybody out there.
We'll be following those awards.